I began unwhitewashing myself more than 10 years ago. People called me crazy. People looked at me crazy. And people even treated me as such. When I shared things about fear mongering, the lies of the patriarchal governmental system that we live in, at least in these United States of America, when I shared things on how the whole system is fake, you can see how people's beliefs of my Delulu was being confirmed through all the things that I was saying that didn't make any sense to them. What they believed was coming to light just before their eyes. I was crazy. They always knew it. And that was that. And just like that, we're back. And just like that, we're back. And just like that, and just like that, and just like that, we back. Period. Welcome back to another episode of Justified. If you haven't already caught on yet, baby, this episode we're going to be talking about whitewashing. Again, I say whitewashing. We're going to be talking about whitewashing and how it's used in this world that we live in to continue to further perpetuate the cycle of unhealthiness that we live in. Many of us are so, I don't know if y'all heard that thing beep just now. Many of us are so whitewashed, right? And I say us because we're all in some way or another unwhitewashing ourselves, right? So many of us are so whitewashed because in this world, being whitewashed is almost like the air we breathe, right? It's almost like it's as well as you are going to get up first thing in the flow, right? Because the systems and the minute details within the systems that they have created have all been whitewashed. What does it mean to whitewash or to even be whitewashed? Whitewashing is the belief construct in conditioning worldly living into the partial expression of human being, spirituality, and consciousness, all while deeming it righteous and divine. What does that really mean? What does all those words really mean? When you are being told that the magical essence of your being, the authentic essence of your being, the truth of your being is evil, ill-willed, toxic, rude, mean, or just all out wrong. And then you're being told this is what you're supposed to do instead. That's essentially whitewashing, right? So where does this kind of start? So we'll just say in whatever times they decided to do this stuff. We're not going to put any dates or names on anything, right? When they decided to, something keeps touching me on my right arm, on my left arm. When they decided to whitewash, right? They essentially took us. So imagine us living in this world, right? Where everything was beautiful. 333 on the clock. My goodness. And I saw 33 seconds when I first started the video. Everything was beautiful. Everything was magical. Everything was authentic. Everything was lovely. Everything was loving, right? Everything was loving. Everything was beautiful. It was this world where there was literally no wrong, right? There was literally no wrong. Everything was right as it should have been, right? And then they came through and they decided, we don't like how they're living. We don't like how they're moving in alignment in community. We don't like how they're operating. We don't like that they use their telepathic gifts to communicate. We don't like that they use magic. We don't like that they, the way they walk, the way they talk, it's too powerful. It's too authentic. It's too genuine. It's too loving. So they stripped all of these things away, right? They took the magic, they took the authenticity, and they took the flat out truth out of our living experience. They, 4 on the clock, my goodness, thank you. They unalived multiple generations of people who were the storytellers, the wisdom keepers. They were the people who was going to carry the messages on from one lineage to the next, one generation to the next. They continuously unalived those people over the course of several decades, right? Over the course of several generations. And they did this until people were living in so much fear that they would not even begin to conceptualize the idea of speaking on anything magic related, anything truth related, anything that was authentic to who the original beings always were, right? So then they took who we were away from us, they whitewashed it, and then they spoon fed it back to us and said, this is who you really are. That magic shit is toxic. That's evil. You don't do that. That's not who you are. Being authentic, that's not who you are. We tell you who you are. 555. That's not who you are. That's not the truth. You don't speak truth. We tell you what the truth is, right? So they whitewashed everything. Just to give you a few examples, what are some things that they've actually whitewashed? Things that are fully whitewashed that you may not even be aware of. Language. Especially the English language. If you are someone who speaks English, the English language, for the most part, to my comprehension, is fully whitewashed. When you speak the English language, there is so much in the English language that they have twisted and distorted and made into a certain way. So when you're saying certain things, you don't even realize that you're saying something different than what you believe yourself to be saying. Whitewashed. Whitewashing is the belief construct in conditioning the world into living a partial expression of human being, consciousness, and spirituality. Whenever you get ready to do something that you feel spiritually led to do and you hesitate from doing it, that's whitewash. When you decide, I don't want to do that because I don't know what people are going to say about me, what people are going to think, what people are going to feel. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm probably going to lose my job. I don't know if they're going to try to do this to me or if they're going to try to take my kids from me or my husband or wife is going to want to divorce me. I don't know if X, Y, Z. All of that is whitewashing. When your spirit leads you to do something, when your consciousness says, hey, do this, and you do the opposite, that's whitewashing. That is a conditioned belief, a conditioned construct, a conditioned mindset that you're operating in, whether you're aware of it or not. Another example, of course, is freedom, right? We talked about this in the last episode. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go watch it. We talked about it on the July 4th, right? So, but freedom is another example of how things are often whitewashed, right? You don't get to move how you want to move. You don't get to be free in the expression of who you are. You have to clear your expression of your being through all the rules and the laws and the regulations and the expectations through, okay, is this breaking the rules? Is this breaking any laws? Am I allowed to do this while I'm living under this roof? Am I allowed to do this while I'm in this school system? Am I allowed to do this while I'm at this church? Am I allowed to do this while I am walking in this neighborhood? All of that is whitewashing. Because when your spirit leads you to do something, right, authentic living should say that you should be able to do that thing when, where, and how you feel led to do it. Period. Everything else is whitewashing. Everything else is whitewashing. Let's see another example. Home life, right? I grew up in an environment where my dad was the end all be all. If he said it, it was done. It was done. 911 on the clock. If my dad said it, it went whitewashing. We couldn't go against what he said because he was putting a roof over our head and clothes on our back. And we were going to get our ass whooped. We were going to get put on punishment. We were going to get everything that we liked or loved taken away from us. And we were going to be forced to do things that we did not want to do. Right? And in his head, he believed that that's what parenting was. Parenting is a big form of whitewashing, especially in this community of the United States. Whitewashing. Whitewashing. I remember when I graduated high school. When I graduated high school, I felt empty, right? I had done everything that I was supposed to do. I graduated at the top of my class. I participated in all the extracurricular activities. I played sports year round. I had people who loved me, friends. I had a lot of my family members, 10 on the clock. I had a lot of my family members who came out to support. Right? When I graduated, a lot of people came out to support, whole 9 yards. My dad, when me and my sister, we graduated same time, my dad had decided to do a barbecue. And I just remember I felt empty. Empty. Because going to school for 13 years and then graduating to get a certificate to tell me good job. Whitewashing. I learned all the things you wanted me to learn. I learned all the things that you told me was important to know. Whitewashing. I felt empty. After 13 years, I felt so unaccomplished. Even though I did all the right things, or should I say all the white things. I did all the whitewashing things that I was supposed to have done, and I still felt empty. And then we wonder why we feel this sudden urge to just want to celebrate certain things. When you are conditioned into living, my goodness, such a partial expression of yourselves. Of course, you're going to want to go party. Of course, you're going to want to go to the clubs. Of course, you're going to want to celebrate every birthday like it's your last. Of course, you're going to want to celebrate the holidays. But even still, they've whitewashed those too. The fact that you feel like you can only celebrate yourself on your birthday. Whitewashing. The fact that you feel like you have to celebrate holidays the way they tell you to celebrate a holiday. Whitewashing. All these things, it literally, every once in a while, you get the urge to live, from parties, clubs, birthdays, holidays. All of these things are created. You create all these things to celebrate because we don't get to have celebrations as a regular part of living. Natural part of living says that if I get up any flow at any moment and I feel led to dance and turn on some music, should be able to do that. That's authentic living, right? Conditioned living or whitewashed living says, oh, I have to schedule a time in my flow to say, I can dance at 12:32 p.m. It's 8 a.m. It's too early to dance. It's too early to dance. It sounds so weird saying it. It was too early to dance, or oh, it's too late, or I don't want to disturb this. And so we create all these different rules. And so then we don't get to celebrate. People create all these different things, baby showers and moon showers and all these different forms to feel celebrated so that we can feel important, so we can feel like we matter. Because everything about how we presently live in this world, especially in this great United States of America, is whitewashed. Whitewashing is the conditioning of believing, thinking, or acting in accordance with the partiality of humanity. So somewhere along the line, it literally becomes normal for you to just exist instead of living. When you begin to live again, existence becomes a mere nothing. When you truly get to experience what it means to live again, you'll forever wonder, why in the heck would I have ever wanted to do that? Why would I have ever wanted to have that? Whitewashing. is a major tool that is used in this world that we live in. From our living styles, from our language that we speak, from the government system that is supposed to protect and cover us, from the freedom that we're supposed to have, our relationships, marriage, community, our home life, all these different things have been whitewashed. When we're supposed to get married, where we're supposed to get married, how we're supposed to get married, how oftentimes we're supposed to get married, who we're supposed to get married to, how many children we're allowed to have, how many is too many children to have, where we get to live, how long we get to live there, who's the head of the household, who's not important in the house. Like, all of these things are a form of whitewashing, and it lives in the world. If you've made it this far in this video, I encourage you to ask yourself, baby, in what ways are you living a whitewashed lifestyle? In what ways are you merely existing instead of living? That's the message, beautiful beings. Remember to tell a friend, to tag a friend, and tag a friend to tell a friend. Thank you all so much for the support that you continue to pour in. Right? Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage however you feel led to. Again, I am Demetria. This is the God of Enlightenment, and thank you all so much. If you haven't already heard it today, baby, you are beautiful. You are so amazing, and I love you. Until next time, this is, and just like that, we out of here.